Hello, my name is Adam Christian Cavazos, and I was born in Harlingen and Valley Baptist, but I grew up my whole life in San Benito. My parents are Cynthia and Eddie Cavazos, and I have 4 siblings, all of which are my half-brother and sisters, but I like to consider them my real ones. 2 from my mom, 2 from my dad. Throughout my whole life, I've been surrounded by so much family. This is one part of my Hispanic culture that I seem to enjoy the most, because like how my dad says, without family, we're nothing. I especially like it whenever we throw large parties. We blast the Tejano music and we eat Mexican food like menudo and tamales with rice and beans. It seems like I'm part of any ordinary Hispanic family, but that's not the case. Outside of family, food, and music, I know nothing else of my own culture. I grew up most of my life speaking only English. As a child, I would never really learn or understand Spanish because I wasn't exposed to it as much as I should have, and when I was, someone would literally translate for me. It was then that I decided to learn Spanish when I was in 6th grade. I remember I was finally excited to learn Spanish and to be able to communicate with other Spanish-speaking people, but that quickly fell. I would often be criticized and be made fun of because of the way I spoke or how I would misinterpret of what I'm saying. To this day, I improved quite a bit, but I still struggle learning the Spanish language because I'll always have that fear of being made fun of or not speaking the language properly. My past experiences with Spanish have discouraged me to learn it at all, but I'm learning to overcome that fear and to learn little by little to be able to stay connected to my Hispanic culture. Another way of how I'm indifferent to my Hispanic culture is that I don't take the leading role of the male in the household. Usually when it comes to gender norms in the Hispanic Mexican culture, men are usually dominant in hard labor over females. In my situation, I would really help my dad when it came to hardworking labor such as cutting the grass, fixing pipes, or solving any technical issues. My dad never really encouraged me to do anything related to hard labor. Finally, one last thing that makes me indifferent to my Hispanic culture is that I don't fully understand or immerse myself in it. Instead, I was more interested in Asian culture. It all started when I was little. I was always fascinated with Godzilla, which is a Japanese kaiju that's stared in many Japanese films. I remember I would always see the language, food, and culture that I would see in the movies, and it inspired me to learn more about Asian culture, such as China with its Chinese food and Korea with its pop music and cultural traditions. It is then that I started to learn Korean on my own, and then later on I started taking Korean language classes at UTRGV. My parents were against it at first, but they thought it was cool later on. To this day, I'm still a little bit confused when it comes to my original Hispanic Mexican culture. I wouldn't consider myself Mexican because from my dad's side of the family, our ancestors are from Spain, but I don't know at all when it comes to my mom's side of the family because none of the family relatives I know come directly or live in Mexico. Therefore, I find it difficult to label myself of what I am and who I am in this life. Nevertheless, I've learned to love myself for who I am and what I am. Despite my differences with my Hispanic culture, I wouldn't change a part of my life one bit.